I am so pleased to be here right now with Nova Lorraine, who is one of my most favorite people ever to sit and chat about with fashion and looking amazing today as well. Um, we are going to talk about AI and digital fashion and AI in the metaverse today. But just as a brief introduction, Nova, you are a founder, you're a designer, you're an innovator, you're a storyteller, award winner shortly that we'll talk about in a little bit, and a speaker. So I'd love for you to just give a brief introduction of yourself to the audience, and then we can kind of go from there and delve into the world of AI and digital fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me here. So excited, especially it's because it's the Women of the Future platform. So, yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Nova Lorraine, and yes, I'm an award-winning fashion designer. And my path started very differently. Would never have thought I'd be immersed in technology as much as I am, based on how I started my journey, which was in medicine and pursuing my PhD in clinical psychology. Had a divine download one day that I was going to help people through my love of fashion. Setting the scene, I'm Caribbean born. I was born in Jamaica, one of six. So pivoting from medicine to fashion was a big leap of faith. But I did because I couldn't ignore this calling that I had. And so I finished up early with my master's, moved to New York, went on to the Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT, to get my design degree, and I haven't looked back. And that journey has, had inspired me to launch Rain magazine, which was that aha moment of how I was going to help people through my love of fashion. Myself and my team have been making it rain for the last 15 plus years. And Rain is about the future of fashion, culture, and technology. So we provide a platform for rising stars, the next big names in those industries, to be seen and heard and discovered. And so that led me to blockchain in 2013, more specifically Bitcoin. And I failed at my attempt to try to buy a mining machine. If I was successful, I probably would be on the beach in Jamaica right now. But anyway, that led me to Ethereum in 2017, day trading in 2020 around crypto, and that really opened the door for me to see, as I was researching and learning and reading more white papers than I can count, that these technologies are the building blocks of the future. This is the foundation of what's going to impact our future economies, and we are in a paradigm shift, a major one. And it's exciting to be a part of this journey as a creator, as a builder, as an author, and of course, as an artist, where I can express myself in new ways thanks to Web3 tools, and to share this knowledge and this journey that I'm taking with the community that I'm building as well.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to just delve in because you and I don't have nearly enough time to chat about
Yeah.
this topic. You and I talk all day generally about this.
Right.
Um, So I know that you did a panel this morning and you've got lots of great stats to throw at us today, but I just wanted to start with a general question of, where do you see digital fashion and regular fashion going? And how is AI going to impact its evolution? What trends do you see and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. Where do so the trends are, well, the trendiest, I would say, component of AI right now is generative AI, which is a model learning algorithm where the artificial intelligence is able to pull from many, many millions and millions of data points and create a response. And that response can be in word form, it can be in audio, it can be an image and or a video. And the more it's used, the more it's fed, the bigger it gets. So think of the Cookie Monster. And so I would say that's the biggest trend is generative AI and how generative AI is impacting creative industries as a whole, including the fashion industry. And in terms of other areas of fashion that I see being impacted, not just by generative AI, but just technology in general, include sustainability and circular fashion. We also have digital fashion and production as it relates to more data driven production and the consumer being able to share what they want produced to the manufacturer to then offer on-demand production as well as mass customization. So I think those are the areas that we're going to continue to see evolve as it relates to fashion.
That's great. And I think it's predicted that is the number, it's gonna be a $1.3 billion industry.
Yeah, so I have some numbers right here.
Love
At my
numbers.
fingertips. AI in general is 100 billion by 2030. 100 billion, right? So just shy of a
Exciting.
trillion. And then there's the AI fashion market, which is 1.3 billion. So you're right with that. And then the apparel market as a whole is in the trillions. So we have $1.5 trillion when we talk about fashion. AI fashion already in the billions. That's just in a couple, not even a couple years, in 1 year, like 1 year from now, we're already at over $1 billion with AI fashion. And most people are like, wait a minute, didn't this just AI thing just start?
Yeah,
That's not the case, but that's what a lot of people think.
I know, and it's interesting. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of fashion brands try and fail and try and be successful and jumping into things like the metaverse and building their worlds there.
Yeah.
What have you seen that's working well, and what type of brands do you think will, like, for lack of a better term, make it? Because there's a lot of companies that have tried and don't seem to be doing it well, and others, like sports brands and that sort of thing, like Nike, that seem to be just thriving. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, great question. Well, Nike, I think, did it right. They're a traditional Web 2 brand, but they bought a Web 3 native company that understood the space, that was creating in the space, and they were able to produce 3D digital assets that they could leverage the Nike name and legacy to create value behind these digital assets. So Nike brought their community into a new space and was able to capitalize on that. And most people around the world has heard of Nike. And so if you're a gamer or you're Web3 native and now you have an asset that you can purchase that has value behind it, the legacy brand, then it's a win-win. Going back to your question regarding what can brands do, those that are focusing on community, that really take the time to understand who are their super fans, like going back to the 80s with big bands and the fan clubs. And so you had individuals that would listen to the music on the radio. Then you had those that would buy the record, remember, or the CD, because that was new. And then you had those that were going to concerts. But then there was this core group that were going to concerts, buying the CDs, buying the posters, wearing the t-shirts, getting the stickers, those are the super fans. And so if each brand can focus on who their super fans are, because those individuals become the ambassadors, the cheerleaders, those are the ones that are holding the megaphones out, going on the
Mhm,
top of the roof, screaming about the product, and look at what are their needs and wants. What are those, what are the experiences that we can create for them? How can we make them happy? What are the problems they're having? And then how can we solve that with these tools? Right. And so then
mhm.
you're using the tool with its function. You're not coming out, if you're a carpenter and you're like, hey, I'm the best carpenter, look at my hammer. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a great hammer. But if you say, look at my house and this house can keep you warm when it rains, okay, let's do business. So I think that where the builders need to not just focus on the bells and whistles around the technology, but focus on the problems within the community and then select the right technology to deliver an experience that's memorable, that addresses one of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Do you want to
Mhm.
feel smarter or healthier, or there are things that as humans we go to these spaces, these products, these places for a reason. And so if you're creating an environment, you have to know the reason why. What are those emotional triggers for your fan base, your super fan base? And then you're going to create that stickiness factor, and then whatever you build will be sustainable.
And I think that's a great point. Like, I, in the 80s, was a super fan of Michael Jackson and Prince. And I went above and beyond and had the scrapbook and the glove and like all this, like all the purple outfit. And I would wear
Yes,
purple every Wednesday and I had the dance moves down. But now, I
I love
listen to
it.
Spotify and I'm like, there's a lot of bands that I like, but never not feeling that energy. It's also age, I'm sure. I'm sure my son will do that. But I think that that's a really important point, that the loyal customers and the fans are the ones that are going to drive it, just because there's so much out there, and people that are slapping their product into a world without thinking about their audience and their customers aren't going to make it. And if you're not a fan of that, just you're not going to buy that for your avatar. You're not going to buy that for your child. You're not going to buy that for
Right,
yourself. And I think that
right.
that's a really important point that you brought up there. So I know that with House of Nova, you've got a lot of projects going on and different things. What kind of partnerships are you working on, and what are you passionate about right now, and what's driving you forward in this industry?
Yeah, well, House of Nova is what I say the future of couture. It's bringing together emerging technology and high-end luxury fashion. And for me, couture represents the art of fashion. It represents storytelling at its best. It represents craftsmanship. It represents artistry. And it's coming together in an item that's actually wearable. And when you wear it, you feel amazing. So that's where the psychology piece comes in. So
Mhm.
I'm super excited to use the House of Nova to inspire individuals through storytelling, to inspire new ways of self expression, to be able to show how you can feel better with art and imagery, with what you're wearing, and bringing those together. And then with this, you're now, when you're feeling better, you're able to, raise your consciousness, your level of consciousness. And so I'm excited to use art in the form of fashion to raise the consciousness of the collective and inspire them to do what they want, be what they want, go after their dreams. Some of the projects that I'm working on under the umbrella of the House of Nova would be my first digital fashion collection, in collaboration, because we know Web3 is all about co creation and collaboration, which is literally like my story and my song. So I am in the right place. I always think better together. So with Dr. Martha Beckenfeld, and her Metaverse,
Amazing.
Marthaverse, and she is a huge advocate of supporting individuals and women and individuals of color and diverse voices, and showcasing art and mindfulness and mental health and well-being. So all the things that I'm an advocate for, we're completely aligned with. And what we want to do is bring these digital fashion items into this metaverse space in a functional way where your avatar can now wear the digital item that you also own as an art piece. And so these items will be minted on the blockchain, via another partnership and collaboration, headed by Russell from Mad Bob, and he'll be providing the smart contracts for the digital assets that we'll be creating on the blockchain. And then you'll have this as art, and then you'll have it as a wearable fashion item in the metaverse. So super, super excited about that. And then, of course, there's the book I'm working on, which when I came across the end of fashion way back when, 2 decades ago, dating myself. It was a snapshot of history, and it was the very beginning of fast fashion. And now that term didn't exist then, at least publicly. But the author, Terry Adkins, was really showing us how traditional fashion was changing. And if we were paying attention, we could have been an advocate for what we are advocating for now, more sustainable fashion. And so Fashion AI and the Digital Age of Fashion, which is the book that I'm working on in collaboration with the Global Village and publishing. And what we're doing is bringing the awareness of the intersection of emerging technology and fashion, and bringing that to the public, bringing it to students, bringing it to professionals in fashion. And we are dissecting these various areas that are being impacted by technology. We're looking at sustainability, we're looking at blockchain, we're looking at NFTs, digital expression, like all the various avenues that is evolving, through Web3 tools. And we're dissecting it. We're getting predictions from experts. We're showcasing numbers and use cases. And we're not just giving data and lots of insight, we're also coupling that with beautiful imagery. And
Awesome.
so it's a coffee table book that's collectible where you can enjoy the art, be inspired by the photos and images, but then also be really well informed by the content that we're covering. So it's a snapshot of where we are in history, this paradigm shift meeting the fashion space.
That's amazing. I've seen the imagery from your book because I have the pleasure of being a part of that project with you, and it's absolutely beautiful. What are you looking for right now for the book? How can people participate in the book right now?
If anyone that's listening is interested in sponsoring, you know, just um,
Help.
I'll call sponsors, a call for sponsors. I mean, we really want to get the book in as many hands as possible. We are offering special pricing for anyone in the education industry, students, professors, university deans, and we want professionals, we want lay consumers, we want students to be aware of what's happening so they don't miss the train. The train is here now, and we are all touched by fashion. Either we're purchasing it, we're wearing it, we're making it, we're designing it, we're appreciating it. And we can be a part of this journey, but it starts with knowledge and awareness. So, sponsorship allows us to produce the book and get it in the hands of as many people as possible. And so, call for sponsors. And then also anyone that wants to share their knowledge and their level of expertise. We are tapping various individuals across the fashion industry and across the emerging technology industry to share their insight, to give their predictions of what's coming next. And so anyone that's interested in contributing in that way as well. And of course, any collaborators that will help us promote the book and distribute the book. So it could be in the form of live events, it could be in the form of a physical distribution hub, an online distribution hub, online events. And so if this project aligns with you and you want to support it in any way, please reach out to Anne. Please reach out to Sue Rooney with Global Village Publishing. And of course, me. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Twitter, DM me. I'm accessible as well. But super excited. As you know, I'm very passionate about education. So to be able to use the medium of books, which I am obsessed with books, as a way to educate and inspire, I'm all for it.
And I think that it's really cool because with this and what we're doing right now, and I mean, I always have found this with curating events, that happen yearly, that you almost can't start to do things early because it changes so quickly. So, what I think is really cool is this is going to be such a snapshot in time at the beginning of what's going on. And then even if you did this book again in a year or 2 years or did updates, it's going to be entirely different, which is
Oh, yeah.
awesome. And I think that even the companies, like, so getting back to what you were saying before about partnerships, I mean, there's so many companies that are working in this space, and it's the software and the tech companies that need to be the partners of this, and the universities and the schools. Like, there's the designers and the education factor and the software companies that all need to find that right partnership and that right collaboration to make this a success, the whole digital fashion industry. And I think that there's so many great designs out there, but the execution of it isn't necessarily where it needs to be with a lot of the projects that are out there right now. And I think that that's really important to note when we're talking about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you could bring up a great point. So these are tools, and the tools are accessible to a certain extent, and anyone can play with the tools. And if we're looking at, let's say, a Picasso with a paintbrush and a fifth grader that
Mhm,
just took their first art class with a paintbrush, two different, end results, right? And
mhm,
so what we're providing with the book is awareness, knowledge, data points, use cases that can guide individuals. May they sit on the PR end, or maybe they sit on the design end. Maybe they're the decision maker or the founder. And I think you bring up a good point in terms of the technologists and the educators. You
mhm.
know, a lot of times you see technology built in a bubble. And we saw, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of metaverse spaces that were created, and it was like, ooh, ah, and you go in, and then I was like, okay, that was interesting, but are you going back? And if more technologists collaborate and co-create with the creators, with the designers, with the individuals that are in those industries that they're trying to attract, then they're going to get a better result. And so what we're doing is providing that resource that allow individuals to not just like kind of throw their money at, at whatever at the wall, hoping something will stick, but to go in with intention, understanding the problems that they can solve with the right tools.
Mhm. And I think that that's important. So we still have a few minutes, so now let's talk about dreams and the future and what we can do. So, Nova, if you could partner with anyone
Oh,
at any point in time of history,
huh.
what would be your ideal, let's pick a few people. What would be like the ultimate collaboration you would want to do? And then what's the ultimate collaboration you would want to see if there's other brands that you love that you're like, that would be amazing?
Oh
What
my
would you love
gosh.
to see?
I'm
Let's
gonna
throw stuff at the wall.
okay, you have me like vision board creating. So
I
literally
know,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
I'm gonna have to like that is such a great question. I've never got that before. And it has me thinking. So I will be continuing this thought process after this event. So, hmm, I'm super passionate about music and
Yes.
um, and filmmaking, and so a a collaboration. And I did a collaboration with this really amazing metaverse architect around fashion and mental health, and that was really awesome. It was a short film that we did, and it was creating an immersive environment, and we added music and voiceover and digital fashion art, generative AI art. So that was incredible. But it would be awesome to expand on that, where we're creating digital fashion, with these tools, seeing it come to life in the physical, taking those physical designs, putting it on real actors within
Cool.
a narrative that's being filmed for a big screen, and then creating the music, with that story. Like when we think of these epic movies like a Star Wars or a Superman,
Mhm.
we also remember the music. And I think music is so powerful. And it, just like fashion is powerful, tells our story and it captures our history. And I think music does that as well. And so when you bring those mediums together, you just have something that could take anyone to the next level. And so I would love to bring together storytelling in the form of film, with a
Awesome.
layer of incredible dynamic music, and seeing my designs go from the digital world where it can live in an immersive environment, but then also in the physical world where you're seeing it in live action on the big screen as well. So I think that would be just like
And who would star in your movie?
oh, you are taking me there today. Who
I'm
would
just prepping you for our
star?
regular phone calls.
Yes, who would star in oh gosh, I'm blanking now, but do you remember the main actor in Free Guy? What is his
Oh, like
name?
Ryan Reynolds?
I love Ryan Reynolds. I think he's
Yeah, he's
amazing.
Canadian.
I think he's amazing. I George Clooney is also really great as an actor. I don't know what I'm gonna do with him yet, but I also there's some really great actors out there, but I'm gonna go OG Denzel because he's never gonna let
Yeah,
you down. So again,
yeah.
whoever Morris Chestnut, Megan Good would be great as well to work with.
Mhm.
Angela Bassett would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. That's
Um,
to dress her.
yeah, Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, come on.
I'm gonna go
uh,
see this movie, I swear. This movie sounds amazing.
and of course, it's going to be sci-fi. I mean, I'm just saying.
Excellent.
So
Well,
yeah, I'm like on my way making the next like the future Star Wars. So stay
there
tuned.
you go. I just want a little producer credit at the end of this movie.
Done.
So Nova, I just want to end by also congratulating you, and I have to put my glasses on to read this awesome title. But you have also just been awarded the 2023 recipient of the She Builds Global Initiative Future Award for Women Pioneers in Web3. So a huge congratulations on that. I think you accept that in June. Is that correct?
That is correct. I
Awesome.
just found out about that a few days ago. Huge surprise. And the award ceremony is a red carpet event taking place in Miami on June 10th. And it's the She Builds Future Festival. So if you're interested in attending, guys, I do have a discount code. But yeah, I am just so grateful that the work I'm doing, the information I'm sharing, the projects I'm building is really inspiring people, and it's being seen and heard, and it's making impact. And I am just beyond blown away that I've been given this award and excited. And I'm going to represent. I'm going to show up,
I
and I'm
love
going to.
it. Well, I just want to say thank you again, Nova. As always, it's such a pleasure. I think that Sue wrote the link to your book um, in the chat, and by also follow Nova on LinkedIn. She's always got amazing posts. And then thank you again. Like it was such a pleasure to have you,
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to all of the projects that you're working on. I think they're fantastic.
I appreciate you so much, Anne Marie. Thank you. Thank you, women of the future.
Thanks so much.
And special thanks to Sue Rooney for all she does.
She's an amazing woman. Thanks, Nova.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.